then the next year we win the national championship. Then we win the Pac-10 championship. Then I enter the draft. So like in 5 years, everything that I had ever really wanted since the age of 6 was to become a professional soccer player. I had really kind of achieved it. And so I got a lot of personal self-confidence in myself, just in, like we had just had a discussion how some coaches are like, don't shoot the ball. It's like, I got the offensive rebound. I got to be able to shoot the ball. And I remember Lute Olson saying, you couldn't hit a barn or you couldn't hit a shot on a month of Sundays, or you couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat. All the stupid sayings. I was like, but I want to shoot. And he's like, well, you got Mike Bibby. You got Jason Terry. You got Miles Simon. You got Michael Dickerson. These are all top shooters in the nation. I was like, but I want to shoot also. I want to get a couple points. So little things like that stick with you and your confidence and things like that. But then you start playing 2 or 3 years, and then you come back and play again. You play 2 years in Istanbul, Turkey, Australia, or Italy. You come back and play against some of those EA Sports preseason games, and high school kids suck, dude. Like, we're going out there in a B League team, a G League team, and we're just like, hey, guys, what are you up to? We're drinking the night before, and we come out and we beat Georgetown or George Washington or James Madison. We beat them by like 25 points just by coming around, and they're trying to full court press, and we're just beating them because we're just that much more experienced playing outside of college. So college coaches, they want to control everything that they do so that they can say that they tried this. But professionals is like, hey, you got to let them play and do their thing.
Evolve and grow. Yeah,
evolve and grow and become their own player. That's why you recruit them. Let them do the things that they're good at.
Teach them and grow. That was always, my progression personally was a shooter. I definitely had imposter syndrome getting to Fresno State. Like, do I belong? Do I not? Early on.
You get to Arizona, you're like, man, these guys they're missing a lot less shots.
Right. Yeah. Like, just a different level of talent and explosion. But, the getting thrown in and having that, very much like you, I don't question. I mean, today's generation likes to know the why, and it's different. I like knowing the why, but it was my way was to just do it so I don't have to hear you say
right, stop yelling at me, yell at somebody else.
Yeah, I'll do it right next time so I don't have to hear it. That's exactly how I channel it. But the big thing I think is that's important, and as a coach, you got to care about the well-being. Like, if you're you can coach a kid as hard as you want. Like, if you actually care about want them to succeed, then you're doing what needs to be done to help them grow.
What do you want parents like? And when you're going through that process, and you're just like, hey, I want my parents to guide me, but your parents are also looking to pass you on to someone. They've had a bunch of soccer coaches and baseball coaches and basketball coaches. That's going to be for a couple months or a season, 8 weeks, 2 months or something. But you're really sending your kid off to live in another state, to be taken care of, to show up and show responsibility, show up 9 to 5. Work through the injuries, work through the things that are tough, but you're also like, hey, I've done myself a job as a mother and father, and you want to pass them on to another father-like figure. And I think that's where Coach Burton and Lute Olson were really crucial, because you can go. How many times have you heard saying, man, I went to this one school and he just killed everything. I mean, we just talked about that, but he just made me hate basketball. And I've had coaches like that over in Croatia, and they're like, my back in the 5th, 6th, and 7th lumbar, I hadn't been able to lay down and get to the door. It took me like 10 minutes of just severe pain. And then the coach is calling me a liar because my back, he thinks I'm faking my back injury. So I was like poking the ball out of his hands. Don't you ever freaking call me. Like, we're two grown men here. Like, besides coach and player, we'd have the same salary. We had the same idea out here, but don't sit here and call me a liar when you know darn well I haven't been able to get up off the floor because you're practicing too much and you don't even have the proper physical therapy for your players throughout the year. So there's certain people that communicate well, and I think we've all had people like Burden and Lute Olson and Tarkanian that are those men that you really look up to.
You admire, yeah. And anytime they can make you laugh on top of it always helps,
right? Cuss you out, and then 2 hours later, it's like, what's up? That was a great stuff. Hey, look over here.
He's told the story. He used to tell the story, like, and I had Coach Tark's son, Danny Tarkanian, who was an assistant on our staff and he told the same story of what I had heard, which is anytime guys were playing bad, he would come in and go, next time you go pick up your scholarship check, wear a mask and bring a gun because you guys are rocking the university. Like, he just funny things like, all right, I know what you're saying, I get it. It's funny, but
there's some more vulgar ones that I've heard, but I don't know if you want them on your podcast.
Yeah, there's some less PG ones as well.
Oh yeah.
But those moments of instilling confidence are huge. Like, I knew when some of the things that Coach Tark said to me early on in my career, I did not actually believe that he, like, okay, he doesn't really think I'm this, but the fact that he was willing to say that to boost the confidence would stick with me, right? Like,
if
all
they're
right,
not yelling at you, they don't care.
Yep, exactly. So, well, like, let's go kind of a little into the West Valley. So you said you didn't really know you were picking up that level of audience and that much recruiting.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, Coach Burton brings in, the list of scholarship, interest. Talk a little bit about kind of that moment, maybe when you realize, like, oh man, I am a top tier Division I player now.
It was really those summer leagues. So after my freshman year, I just basically stayed down in San Jose, and I could drive. I mean, a 2-hour drive, hour 45 wasn't that bad. I pretty much would do Tuesday, Thursday open gyms where you're playing with Steve Nash and Sharif Abdul-Rahim. Then Wednesday nights I go up to the Pro-Ams and play with Jason Kidd and what's his Richmond? Not Mitch Richmond. So a couple of players, they show up. And I'm sitting there just like, you think I'm good enough to play with some NBA players? Like, hell yeah, you are. So the other people reinstilling that confidence in me really helped. Plus, at the same time, when I did that end of my freshman year to the junior year Las Vegas Pro-Am, that was probably the most eye-opening situation because coming from a small town, not knowing where to go, to being like wedged into this funnel of just there's Tarkanian and John Thompson and John Wooden and Lute Olson and, Bill Frieder, everybody's out there coaching. I didn't know who any of these coaches were. He's like, that's that coach. It's like, where's he coach? He's like, Bennett, you're so dumb. How do you not know these things? Like, because I just play basketball. I could care less. Like, I don't watch sports now. So we're playing, and there's this rebound, and someone gets a shot. These guys are kind of tiptoeing it. And as I'm coming over the free throw, I grabbed it out of 4 of their hands and dunked it on all 4 of those players at the same time. And I was just like, and I just kind of ran back. I didn't scream or yell. I didn't go, oh, let's go. I didn't do any of that. I just ran back, and the gym was silent. I was like, did I do good? And then, like, everybody erupted. After the game, Coach Olson was there, but nobody was allowed to talk to us. And our assistant Coach Jackson, we were getting into the van, and he shuts the van, and he pulls out of the parking lot, and he says, Davison, that was insane. I was like, what are you talking about? That dunk. He's like, and look behind us. There was like 5 Division I coaches right behind us, all waiting to find out where the hotel we stayed at so they could come and talk to Coach Burton. And then Coach Burton says, I'm sure the time has lapsed, but they said, I think it was the Pump Brothers. The Pump Brothers came and said, Coach Burton, you got some fees to play. He's like, I got the number 1 player in the nation. You're paying for our hotel. You're paying for our flights. You're paying for our entry fee. You're doing all that stuff. And I want some tickets to the NBA summer leagues and stuff for some of my kids so they can go watch that. And he's like, all right, Coach, you got what you wanted. And I didn't know it. And I was just a big goofy kid playing Tomb Raider and, Sonic the Hedgehog and Crash the Bandicoot, that kind of stuff. And that was probably one of the first times that I'd actually kind of had some of that confidence instead of just being a big goofy kid coming out and running around and jumping a lot. So
started realizing it,
but it never went to my head. I was so afraid to go to Arizona and get a free pair of shoes and violate a school. I need some First of all, I need this retroactive NIL money. How do we start a survey or something on that?
We need to go back and recapture what we could have made as
probably tens of dollars.
I mean, what a different world from you can't get a free meal to making the kind of money
you're making $1,400 less like crazy.
Yeah, wild times. I think it's cool. And I think eventually they'll figure out some balance. I talked to a lot of coaches on our podcast about kind of what it's like to be a coach with the transfer portal and NIL, and there's a lot of good and a lot of more challenging things. But
with egos and the money coming in and stuff like that, and bouncing in for 1 year and bouncing out. And
tough to coach a kid hard if he's got the out clause that is very very easy to grab. Yep. But I think it does require investing in relationships and to start life with that kind of money would not be the worst thing in the world.
I'd rather try to figure it out than not have it.
Right, exactly.